So you can go to creditboards.com, right?
Okay.
And on creditboards.com, you could actually find out which credit bureau is pulled with each bank.
Okay.
So if I'm in California, I could go and look up California and see, all right, Experian, what banks pulled Experian based upon credit boards, right? And now I would see American Express pulled Experian, right? US Bank pulled Experian, but now I'm able to put together a sequence and go hit Experian, right? I can see what pulls TransUnion, put together a sequence. Now I go and stack up all of these credit cards, but I need to have the profile set up the right way, and I need to have my business set up. So your business needs to have website, business email, business phone number, business address, right? You need to have a compliant business, and now you can go get access to this type of capital. But also, you can get funded with bad credit.
Talk to me about that.
So it's multiple strategies. So one of the strategies is called...
Hey business owners, what if I helped you get access to $50,000 in business funding for $1 a day? Would you be interested? Well, inside of my Credit Mastery community, you're going to be getting exclusive access to our in-depth training program that's worth tens of thousands of dollars to give you the exact strategies you need on how to restore your credit and on how to properly structure your business. You're also going to be getting access to a financial consultant with over a decade of experience in the funding space that'll help you reach your financial goals in half the time it would take if you were to do it on your own. And we're going to be giving you 2 coaching calls every week that'll give you the exact banks you need to go to get access to $50,000 to $100,000 in business funding. This is the same community that helped Pat get access to $50,000 in funding from Chase, helped Alvin get access to $8,000 in funding from Amex, helped Matt boost his personal credit score by 150 points, and helped Donna delete a bankruptcy from her credit report. So if you're interested, click the link above or below this video to join now, and we'll see you on the other side of success. Let's go, family.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Marvin Francois Show, your #1 source for all things business, finance, and investing. And today, is a very special day because our guest today is a father, husband, investor, philanthropist, public speaker, real estate specialist, and serial entrepreneur extraordinaire. To date, this man has done $10 million in real estate acquisitions, built $20 million in family wealth, and helped his students raise over $50 million in personal and business funding. Whether he's providing high-level strategies to his mentees on how to grow their business to multiple 6 to 7 figures, or putting free value content educating aspiring entrepreneurs on how to break free from the rat race through the self-storage industry, his mission to teach all business owners alike on how they can purchase cash-flowing businesses with no money down strategies to create wealth for generations to come is proof why his success in the space is not coincidence, it's confirmation. And today, he's here to do more of the same. Ladies and gentlemen, from Brooklyn, New York, I'm here with the one, the only, my guy, Mr. Ramel New Worlds, a.k.a. Young Mogul. What's going on, family? How are you?
I'm good, bro. I'm glad to be back. I say this is home.
Home. Welcome back, family.
Yes,
Third
sir.
time here on the platform for obvious reasons. You come on and you bring immense amount of value, and I'm extremely excited to have you back on. First and foremost, how are you, family?
Blessed and highly favored.
Listen.
You know, booked and busy, but I say all the time, I'd rather be busy than bored. any
Listen,
day.
I love it. I love it, man. I absolutely love it. You've definitely been making a lot of large moves, and definitely wanted to make sure that we brought you back on here to keep giving people the game. They were ranting and raving when we came on and did the Fund Your Freedom Challenge interview. They were ranting and raving when we came on the first time we gave them the self-storage game. But here, we talking about a different level of business that we really want to break down for the people. So I'm excited. I know you are as well. But before we get into that, there are some people who are unfamiliar that we want to get familiar.
Yes,
so for
yes.
those who don't know, who exactly is Mr. Ramel New Worlds?
Yes, 32 years old, born and raised, Brooklyn, New York. So I come from the jungle, right? My story is like anyone else that come from poverty, welfare, food stamps, free lunch, you name it. You know, I come from that. I grew up. My mom passed away when I was 12, the breast cancer. My grandmom that raised me passed away when I was 14 to cancer as well. So I was raised by a single father, you know. So it was just a struggle coming up. But I'm sharing that because I'm proud to be here today as a serial entrepreneur. My very first deal, right? I did everything that they told us to do, which I went to college, right? I got my degree. I got a full-time job working for Pepsi Beverages Company, and I dived into real estate, right? And my very first deal, I made 6 figures, right? $157,000 to be exact on my very first deal. And I doubled down, right? I bought more properties. I had $1 million portfolio by the age of 28, 10 million by 30 years old, and 32, $20 million in family wealth. So I've been able to grow really fast, but I take pride in how many people I've been able to help, though, right? So We got 8 self-storage millionaires today, hundreds
dope.
of students that to the 700 Club, multiple students that make 6 figures or more in their business. So, I'm just blessed to be able to be a part of this what we call economic revolution.
I love it. I love it. Let's talk a little bit more about that because, like you said, I mean, we listed some of your accolades. 20 million in family wealth. It's heavy. 10 million in real estate acquisitions. All of these titles and all of these accolades, but it wasn't always like this. And I think that's important for the people who are watching and listening to understand. Let's go back a couple years, right? Because before you became the self-storage king,
That's a fact.
you were in the streets, man. You was hustling, just trying to figure out when and where the next dollar was going to come from. So how does that transition happen from, being a youngin in the streets, trying to figure it out, to being one of the premier names and the premier faces in the commercial real estate space? Walk us a little bit more through that.
Man, I always knew I was going to be great, right? My nickname growing up was Knowledge, right? Because I was always, spelling words correctly. I was always intrigued about learning, but your environment will change you way before you change it, right? So I'm growing up in Brooklyn. I'm seeing gangbangers. I'm seeing drug dealers. I'm seeing scammers. So I'm going to do what I see, right? And there's only 3 things that they say we could do growing up in the hood, which is either we're going to pick up a basketball, have the best jump shot, right? Either we're going to pick up a microphone and have the best bars, or we're going to be in the streets, right? Trapping, or whatever the case may be. And I started to rap. That didn't work out, right? I put my music on YouTube, videos on YouTube, no likes, no subscribers. And then I played ball for a little bit, and I realized that I wasn't 7 feet tall. I wasn't the fastest, right? So that didn't work out. So what's next, right? I started getting in the streets, and when I was in college, I was actually, selling weed on campus and, different things, a statute of limitation. I won't get all that. I said, but I was doing some things I shouldn't have been doing.
Right.
And I ended up getting arrested on campus, right? And expelled out of college, and I had to fight to get back into school. I was on probation. But this was the turning point for me because I realized that my life was going down a path that I did not ever see for myself, and I was letting down my family because I wasn't raised that way. I didn't have to do the things I was doing. I did it because it was just available to me. And at that point, I had a mindset shift. And I said, I'm great, right? I have the skill set. I know how to do business because I made money in it. But if I could do something different, and that's how I got into real estate, and I started doing on that path. And, like I said, we here where we are right now. But yeah, I did make some mistakes. I bumped my head, but I was able, like Wallow. I listen to Wallow a lot. He always say, everybody has a different point where their alarm clock come on, right? That's that light bulb. And,
Right.
Sometimes we got to bump our head and then the alarm clock come on, right? So, I had battled some things, and that's what happened. My alarm clock came on, and now, we started grinding.
I heard a quote that said, if you want to show me a great man, don't tell me what he's done. Tell me what the people under him have been able to do. You talked about your success, but if I heard correctly, you're at 8 self-storage millionaires right now?
Yes, sir.
I think that we can't just skip past that. Talk a little bit about just one of the success stories of one of those individuals, because not only have you been able to establish yourself in this space, but you've put other people in position to win as well. Could you expand a little bit on that?
Yes, a bunch of students, but one of my most, exciting stories, and one of my students, my name is Rashida Robinson. We call her Double R. She's now an actual coach in our community,
Awesome.
Elite Club. But, her story is similar to anyone, right? Lost her job during COVID, had to start doing Uber, DoorDash, and she invested into the program when she had her last. Really didn't even have it, right? Just went into debt to invest into the program. Credit was not where it needed to be, didn't have any cash. But we taught the strategy of being able to find motivated sellers and find deals. And whenever you find a great deal, the money's going to show up, right?
Yeah.
So she ended up finding 3 storage facilities, spoke with a motivated seller, and she brought the deal to me. And we looked at the numbers. I'm like, oh, this makes sense. It's a great deal. And she said, look, I want to, make money on this deal. I'll wholesale it to you, right? So she was going to wholesale it to me, and I was going to cut her a check for $50,000, But I said, let's do one better, right? Let's negotiate and let's get you some equity in this, right? So now we actually partnered together where I came in, bring the capital, the resources, and bought the facility. But because she found the deal and put it together, now she's she's an equity owner in the facility. So she get passive income.
Come on now.
And the ownership is $1.8 million, right? And this stuff is documented. You can look it up, right? But that's a story I like to share because no credit, no cash of her own, just the skill set of finding a great deal, knowing how to speak to a motivated seller, knowing how to underwrite, getting at the right price, and then you bring it to the table, we're going to put it together.
I love it. I love it. So let's get into the talk, man. Because I
Yeah,
I was trying to ease into it, but you it sounds like you ready to go.
Oh, you know I stay ready.
Listen, let's break the game down for the people because I want to talk buying cash flowing businesses. Right, right now we're in the year 2024, and entrepreneurship has and probably will continue to be a hot topic. Everyone's talking about building businesses. I hear Mogul talking about buying businesses. Two completely different conversations, right? If I'm listening or watching this podcast right now, the year's 2024. Why should I be looking to buy a cash flowing business?
Great question, bro. I'm gonna be honest. Can I keep it 100%?
Let's do it, bro.
Right?
This is Marvin Francois show.
They told us how to build wealth all wrong. And I got caught up in the trap of going to start a business, right? That's not the fastest way to build wealth. 40% of business owners fell within the first 2 years, right? And during the pandemic, right, everything changed because so many people, they got laid off from their jobs or they was working from home. So they invested into these courses, programs, mentorships, and started these businesses that was trendy, right? These small side hustles that was making money for a little bit of time. But now, 2 years later, 3 years later, out of COVID, back to the drawing board. Got to go back to work, right? Now they sky high in debt. When really the fastest way to build wealth is to buy an already existing business that's not trendy, that's already recession proof, that already passed the, I call it the time check, right? Because 40% of businesses fail within the first 2 years, but 90% of businesses fail within the first 10 years, right? So if you are building a business, you have a 90% chance of failing if you have not met that 10-year mark.
Right.
So why not go and buy a business that are already past 10 years, that's already 20 years, 30 years, that's already bringing in 5 and 6 figures every single month, day one, right? So this is where we talk about self-storage. The facility that one of my mentees brought to the table we bought, that owner owned that self-storage business for 30 years. It's been cash flowing for 30 years. It already have marketing, customer-based systems in place. We bought the facility, cash flowing $20,000 day one. So we're buying cash flow versus you investing into a business. Now you got to spend money on marketing and don't even know what's going to work. Now you struggling with fulfillment because you can't pay a team. Like these are all things that happen to me and a lot of entrepreneurs when you struggle with building a new business, not understanding what you're up against. When you can have what we call a cheat code, right? And we can go and buy a business that's already cash flowing day one, and now exit from that business 2-3 years from now, whatever your plan is, and now you make money on the exit.
I think that's such an important conversation because just as well as I do, especially being in the social media age, I think that this idea of building a business has been simplified, and everybody thinks you finna make $1 million in your first 30 days of being an entrepreneur, and you could just create a little Instagram account, money just gonna start coming in. But real business takes real time. I mean, you was even talking about that off camera. So now we talk about, like you call it, the cheat code of building family wealth through buying businesses. This is a conversation that we should have been having. People, I mean, other races and people have been having, but now that conversation is starting to happen amongst our people, and it's a conversation that needs to be had. I think what's even greater about this conversation, though, is I was actually, I follow you on the gram. I saw a couple that you had referred to on. I think they're actually a part of your community as well. They bought I think it was like a laundromat or a dry
cleaning business.
Talk a little bit about that. That was crazy.
Yeah, shout out to Naya, the legacy builder, and her husband, Ern. She's actually in our Mailbox Media Academy mentorship, right? She invested in our program 2 years ago. And just recently, she had a grand opening. She purchased a dry cleaning business, right? And the cool thing about it is this is what I want people to understand. She purchased a dry cleaning business utilizing her IUL, right? Her Infinite Bank. So these are the strategies that we teach in our community when we talk about being able to build your own bank, leveraging insurance, getting compound interest. So when she bought this dry cleaning business, it was already cash flowing, right? And she was able to cut a check from her own bank to be able to buy that business. And now, if she want, in 2-3 years from now, as she do more marketing, bring more customers, bring more revenue, she'll be able to get out of that business at a 5 or 6x return on that business, right? So that's just one student. More like Naya. We also have Royalty, another student. She purchased a restaurant and lounge, no money out of pocket, utilizing business credit cards, right? $60,000. She got that off a Chase credit card, 0% interest, 18 months, right? 12 months. So we also have Cookie, another one. She purchased a pack and ship business. So I could go on.
Yeah,
and on
if
and
we let you go, you gotta just roll out with the testimony.
The only reason why I'm sharing is because it's one thing for me to say, Mogul, you've been in business. No, you said it. Social media got us fooled where we think that anybody could just show up and start and build a business. It takes a certain level of character, mindset, skill set, and time to actually build a business. You know it. But what it doesn't take a lot of is somebody to go and buy a business that somebody already did the work on. So I may not have the skill set to go through the process to start and grow a business and have my face out, build a brand, build a team. But what I can do is get access to some capital and buy something that somebody else already built, and I could just keep the systems going that's already in place.
And there's something you said that was key, whether you talked about, you know, the person that bought the restaurant or the couple that have bought the, was it the laundromat or
dry cleaning
business? The dry cleaning business. They wasn't already making hundreds of millions of dollars before they bought the business. They wasn't even probably even making tens of millions of dollars, right? But they had creative financing strategies in place to where, regardless of where they were at that current moment in time, they were able to seize that opportunity. And I think that's important too, because a lot of people may be coming into this conversation thinking, man, buying businesses up, I don't got millions upon millions of dollars. You don't need millions of dollars to get started in buying a business that's going to immediately start cash flowing. So I think that that's great.
Can I give you some game real quick?
Let's do it.
I want you to talk about that really quick, because that's the missing piece that people think they need a bunch of money. There's 10,000 baby boomers retiring every single day, right? These individuals own these businesses, right? And they need to sell them, or they need to be able to figure out a way to retire. When they sell these businesses, they're gonna get hit with what is called capital gains tax, right?
Right.
So they don't want to give Uncle Sam 20-30% of the money that they worked to build over the last 30 years with this business.
Right.
So they are more open to creative strategies like seller financing, right? Different things so that they could save money. And believe it or not, most of the business transactions where we're buying businesses is not directly cashing out. It's really through seller financing, or you putting down a down payment and being able to work out some balloon payment at the end of the day. But I want to just say that because I don't want anybody to think that they are out of their league.
Right.
I can't buy a business. You can buy a business. You just need a strategy.
You just need the strategy. So I'm gonna ask you this, right? And I feel like I kind of already know your answer. You're probably gonna be a little bit biased. But when we talk about buying businesses, there's so many different ones. You mentioned a couple: dry cleaning businesses, you know, restaurants, you know, all these different things. In your opinion, in the year 2024, what is the absolute best business for us to buy if we're just getting started from ground zero? I already see you smiling. I know.
Yeah, I'm gonna be biased all day. As long as a lot of businesses to buy, but I'm the self-storage king for a reason.
Yeah.
So I'm always gonna say self-storage. Why? Self-storage has a 92% success rate.
Say that again?
92% success rate.
Okay.
Which means that your chances of failing is very, very slim. Even if you are a newbie entrepreneur and you don't know nothing from nothing, you could still be successful in the self-storage business. But even further than that, when the economy is on the down, right? People are losing their homes. This is what happened over the last couple of years. People started to downsize, right? Foreclosures, they relocating. This is the pandemic.
Yep.
Well, when people relocate, what happens? They utilize storage units throughout that transition. Even when the economy is on an uprise and people buying more stuff, they got more items, they still rent out storage units, right? We even have business owners that they do Airbnb, they have cleaning companies, and they store their items in storage units. So it's a recession-proof business. That's why I say, you know, you don't want to get into a trendy business. You want to get into something that's going to be here for decades, right? Whether you here, your kids, your grandkids, and self-storage is that business.
And you made to piggyback off of that point, you know, we both saw all these businesses that were here today and gone tomorrow, and the pandemic, you know, the NFTs and all this other stuff that was going on. But self-storage been here for a minute, and I think you and I can both agree it's going to be here for quite some time. You said as a newbie, if I'm a newbie entrepreneur, it's one of the best businesses I could get into. 92% success rate. So if I'm interested in buying, let's say, a self-storage business, break down just some of the average numbers. If I'm just getting started from ground zero, what does it take to run the business? And then also, what does the revenue look like on a month-to-month basis?
So I'll give you a real life example.
Let's do it.
Right? We just purchased 3 facilities, a total of 240 units. The facilities are worth $1.8 million. We didn't pay $1.8 million. We paid $850,000, right? Now, we leverage what is called the SBA 7A loan. I love the SBA 7A loan because you only have to come to the table with 10% down. So $850,000, 10% down, $85,000, plus a little bit more. We came to the table with about $110,000 because of closing costs. You have something called a guarantee fee, appraisals, surveys, different things that you have to come to the table with. But $110,000 down. How did we use that money? How did we get that money? Through business credit cards. So now we do what is called a credit card stack and sequence, right? When we go apply for a series of credit cards, 0%, take the money off the credit card, down payment on that facility. So now we able to get into a facility with no money out of our pocket that's worth $1.8 million, cash flowing $25,000 a month net, day one.
Just stop. Say that. Say. I want to make sure I heard you clearly. My left ear been off. Say that last part. Cash flow, how much? I want to make
Cash
sure.
flowing $25,000 a month, day one. Like that's the biggest thing I want them to understand. We don't have to wait and take time to get our money back. Day one.
Okay.
Any other business that real estate,
Yeah.
as far as single families or anything that they starting out with, you're gonna put a bunch of money in, and you have to wait a long
Sizable
period of
amount of
time
time,
to
yeah.
be able to get back to even break even.
Right.
Right. So in that case, it's just a matter of a couple months, and we back even, and everything else is profit, right? And so that's pretty much how that exact deal worked, right? We came to the table with $110,000 down, used business credit cards, as cash flowing $25,000 a month net, and I could talk to you about the whole other strategy as far as the exit at some point, but that's how that works.
Hey, business owners, what if I told you that for just 90 cents a day, you could get access to $45,000 in business funding? I just launched my Credit Mastery community, where inside you're going to be getting exclusive access to our in-depth training program worth tens of thousands of dollars that's going to teach you the exact strategies you need on how to restore your credit and on how to properly structure your business. You're also going to be getting access to a financial consultant with over a decade of experience in the funding space that's going to be working with you to reach your financial goals in half the time it would take if you were to do it on your own. And we're going to be providing you 2 coaching calls a week where we're going to teach you the exact banks that you need to go to get access to anywhere between $50,000 to $100,000 in business funding. This is the same community that helped Pat access $50,000 in funding from Chase, help Alvin get $8,000 in funding from Amex, help Matt boost his credit score by over 150 points, and help Donna delete a bankruptcy from her credit report. So if you're interested, click the link above or below the video to join now, and we'll see you on the other side of success. Let's go, family.
So then let's break it down then, right? Let's say we want to go the credit route about getting into the space of not being business builders, but business buyers, right? Let's start off and let's say we want to go the route of leveraging our credit to get the capital that we need to buy the businesses. Let's break this down step by step, because what I want to do when somebody's watching or listening to this, I don't care if you're making $5,000 a month, $3,000, or if you have nothing. I want you to be able to walk away from this episode and think to yourself, like, bro, I could do this. Like, this is nothing, right? So let's break it down for the people. Let's say I wanted to leverage my credit. Obviously, you know, just like I know, credit, we want to make sure that we have a foundation that can even support us going out and getting the funding. So for starters, what would my credit report even need to look like for me to be able to leverage it to get the funding to go and start buying these businesses?
Great question. So it's about the profile. It's not about the score. A lot of people, they have a 750 credit score and think they can go to the bank and get 200 grand. That's not the case, all right? It's about your profile.
Yeah.
So you want to have 100% payment history. So that means no late payments, no negatives, no collections, no derogatories. You want to have less than 3 inquiries. You want to have an average age of credit of 3 to 5 years or more. And when you have those things in place, that's pretty much going to be a solid profile, right? With that solid profile is now you go for the sequence that we just talked about. So I'm gonna get them some game.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
We gotta give them the game.
Let's give them
right?
the game.
So you can go to creditboards.com, right?
Okay.
And on creditboards.com, you could actually find out which credit bureau is pulled with each bank.
Okay.
So if I'm in California, I could go and look up California and see, all right, Experian, what banks pulled Experian based upon credit boards, right? And now I would see American Express pulled Experian, right? U.S. Bank pulled Experian, but now I'm able to put together a sequence and go hit Experian, right? I can see what pulls TransUnion, put together a sequence. Now I go and stack up all of these credit cards, but I need to have the profile set up the right way, and I need to have my business set up. So your business needs to have website, business email, business phone number, business address, right? You need to have a compliant business, and now you go get access to this type of capital.
Okay.
Right? But I want to take it a step further.
Let's go.
Because a lot of people are, oh, listen, I don't have that profile. It's going to take me too long. What I want to do, we could work it out. We probably drop it in the description if we can. I want to give people access to a free software to clean their credit up. You're just going to be able to clean your credit for free. Cost you nothing, right? Because I don't want to hear nobody say they can't get to that point. But also, you can get funded with bad credit.
Talk to me about that.
So it's multiple strategies. So one of the strategies is called subprime lenders.
Okay.
Subprime lenders are non-traditional institutions. So it's not Wells Fargo, not Chase, not Bank of America. These are private institutions where they lend out to people that have challenged credit. For example, you have net credit. That's one. You got op loans, fig loans. These are all subprime lenders.
Don't just speed past that. Break it down. Say those again. Say
Net
slow.
credit.
Okay.
Fig loans, op loans.
Okay.
These are subprime lenders, right? So if you don't have the best credit, you can go this route. They're not gonna expect you to have a 750 credit score. They do make sure that you have capital to pay them back. So they want to see pay stubs or some collateral to show that you have some cash flow. That's important, right? But you can still go to a subprime lender, right, and go get capital. Or you can leverage what we call the operating agreement play, right? So if I have a bad credit score, but Marv, you got a great credit score, right? I could put you on my LLC on the operating agreement as 90% owner. So now you're 90% owner on my business. We're gonna go and apply for the same sequence that I just shared and go get 100,000, 200,000, 300,000. But because you are a partner, the benefit for you is I'm gonna give you equity in this business that we go buy. This is what I've done time and time again. Put my cousin on an operating agreement, got $45,000, 24 hours. Then we go and buy a storage facility, and now you have equity in this. You get paid cash flow. So now I'm not utilizing my credit. I'm utilizing your credit, but we all can get cash flow. And this is why we say you need to buy businesses because you can get cash flow day one to solve any issues. Because if I go and put you on my operating agreement and we go get funded, and now the debt is just sitting there, interest is kicking in, or we invest into a bad venture,
Cash flow not coming in, you start sweating.
now we got to fight.
Yeah, now we about to squabble. You
Yeah,
understand?
we don't want to do that.
Okay, young mogul. Okay, you all right? You just said a lot just now. We gotta. Let's rewind and I want to break it down. I want to make this digestible for people. So you just gave several different strategies to where no matter where I am credit wise, I can go out and get the financing I need. And by the way, we haven't even talked about SBA yet, and we about to talk about. I'm not about to let you just get past that.
Oh yeah, I got you.
Let's break down the credit side of things a little more, right? First, going back to the business credit side, you talked about the importance of sequence, how we want to make sure that we're figuring out where these banks pull from before we just go and apply to them willy-nilly. When we're going to these banks and we're applying, there's different types of credit products. So there's lines of credit, there's business credit cards, there's installment loans and beyond. Because I'm looking to get financing for buying businesses, that the type of credit product I'm applying for matter or not that much?
Say that again?
Does the type of credit product that I'm applying for when it comes to funding matter or not as much? Does it matter if I'm going for a line of credit, a business credit card?
Absolutely. So if you are a newbie entrepreneur, you're going to start with business credit cards, right?
Okay.
Because that's the entry level for you to be able to get approved without having to show pay stubs, tax returns, bank statements, and all of that cool stuff. You could actually apply for business lines of credit, but typically with business line of credit, you need to show tax returns, 2 years of history. In some cases, you can get a business line of credit and they won't ask you for that, but it's up to a certain amount.
Right.
So what we advise all of our mentees, when you go to the banks, you want to actually question them. You want to interview them because the banks need us.
Yeah.
Like they need us to be able to work with them. So I need
Facts.
to interview you.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you, hey, what credit bureau do you pull from? I'm also going to ask you, do you have any multiple entity funding? I'm also going to ask you, what lending products do you offer me with one inquiry?
This is good.
I'm also going to ask you, hey, how much money, what's the maximum allowable limit that you can give me without requesting documentation, right? What are your no-doc, opportunities? So when you ask these things, they would tell you, oh, I'll give you 50,000 with no docs. I'm not going to give you 100 with no docs. All right, cool. I'll take the 50. I'll go with that.
Cool. So we know what kind of product we're going to go for. You talked about another thing you broke down too, which is also extremely important, the structuring of the business. Because you're going to have some people that's like, all right, cool, Mogul say go get cards. Let me just go ahead and get this LLC from LegalZoom or this website and that's it. And it's like, no, you want to make sure your business is structured properly from top to bottom. Run through that list one more time. Like, what does that properly structured business have to look like in terms of name and address, and where are we going to even set these things up the way that we need them set up?
Great question. So first, you want to go to namecheck.com.
Okay.
Right? And that's going to determine if your business name is even out there, right? Is other businesses with that name? Is there other domains and websites? You want to make sure that your business name is available. So I'm going to go to namecheck.com. Number two, once I verify that name is available, I'm going to go and get a virtual address. I could use Regis. I'll use Opus. You want to get the virtual address before you go and file the LLC. Why? Because when I file my LLC and I put my personal address, it's public information.
Yeah.
So I don't want that. That's why I want to get the address for my business first.
Yep.
And now when I file the LLC, that's what's going to be on those documents, right? Once you do that, website, very important.
Yeah.
On your website, I say this all the time, it's 3 components. You want to have a bio on your website. The banks need to know who's operating this business.
Yep.
Number two, you want to have your services clearly outlined. The bank shouldn't have to guess what you do. And number three, testimonials, right? When you have testimonials on there of what you've been able to do, it just makes you more credible, right? In addition to that, I would say set up your business on Yelp, right? Google business listings. These are things you could do to make sure that you are findable. The banks are going to Google your business. Business email, business phone number, business fax number, and a business bank account. That's the last thing I would say. So, you're going to get what is called a business bank rating. So when you open up a business account, put $50 in there, put $100 in there. Don't just open it up and then get fees, and now your business bank rating is, decreasing. So those are the things that you would need to have from a business compliance standpoint.
And then from there, you said something else that was key. And this is actually my first time hearing this on a platform. You talked about, I've heard of subprime lenders, but you was dropping names, right?
Yeah.
What were those different lenders that we could look into? Could you just say those one more time?
We have over 30 plus lenders, subprime lenders, but Net Credit is one of them. They're based in Pennsylvania. They, give out loans to people that have less than good credit because they are competing with the bigger banks, right? So they can't compete with Wells Fargo, the Chase, the Bank of America. So their audience is the individuals that cannot get approved with those banks, right? Op Loans is another one. Fig Loans is another one.
Okay.
And, you go to those subprime lenders, you apply. It's personal cash loans. They approve you in 24 to 48 hours if everything checks out, and make sure your income, that's the biggest thing I want to say. Your income needs to be shown that you can actually pay them.
Right.
Because they're not obviously going off your credit, right? So if you got the income, you can pay them, you good.
Got you. We've talked about it before, but I really want to unpack it here as well because there's so many different ways for you to get the financing to buy these businesses. And this is your specialty. You sing to the Himalayas about this. SBA.
Oh, yeah.
I can't bring you on here and not talk about the SBA.
Oh, yeah.
Most people, when they think of the SBA, especially people who are still fairly new to the business space, they think back to COVID, and we knew about them because of the EIDL and all this stuff. But the SBA has been here for a minute, and they're going to continue to be here. And that is a entity that you've leveraged as well for your self-storage businesses that you've built. Talk a little bit about some of the different programs they have that we can leverage to go out and get the financing we need to buy businesses.
SBA, man, they've been around since 1953, right? So it's been a very long time. It's multiple products. So I love the SBA 7A loan. We're going to start there.
Okay.
The SBA 7A loan, it goes up to $5 million. So you can buy a business from $500,000 to $5 million. If I want to go buy a $5 million business, 10% down, $500,000. In my mind, I'm not thinking about the $5 million. I'm thinking about how do I get the $500,000? Well, I know how to go get $500,000 between credit card stacking, business lines of credit. If I have money in my 401k, I may have a HELOC. It's so many ways to go and get that type of capital. Then you also have the SBA 504 loan. So that's the next level where you tapped out of the SBA, you hit that $5 million mark, but now it's time to go to $15 million. And it's the same concept. So now it's about 10 to 15% down, but you can go up to $15 million. You also have SBA Express loan, which I love as well, which is anything under $300,000. So if you want to go buy a small laundromat, car wash that may be $200,000, $300,000, you can do the SBA Express loan, anything from $300,000 and below, right? And there's so many more SBA loans, like if depending on what industry you're in. So if you're in tech, you can get an SBA loan for tech. Finance. It's just so many opportunities. And why I love it so much is because it's a government-backed program, right? Key Bank, for example, Navy Federal, any bank, when you go to them, they're going to give you a loan through SBA. Why? If you fail to pay Key Bank back on this SBA loan, the government is guaranteeing that they're still going to get 80% of that loan.
Right.
That's the reason why a lot of banks are giving out SBA loans, because they know it's a government-funded program. And at the end of the day, I'm going to get 80% regardless. Yeah, that's the game changer.
Come on, man. So typically, because you talk about a couple of different types of programs, what are some of the requirements that the SBA is looking for from us as business owners? Because they're not just going to say, here, take the money and go, right? They need to see something. What are they usually looking for?
Number one, credit.
Okay.
They're going to pull your credit, 650 or higher.
Okay.
So pretty flexible on a credit score.
Okay.
But no bankruptcies, no collections, late payments if you could justify and communicate and they could see reason. For example, COVID, and you may have messed up and, you got a late payment. They'll work with you on that. But no bankruptcies, no collections. You got to show some type of income, right? So they want to see 2 years tax returns, but they want to see the paperwork. If you don't have 2 years tax returns on your business, at least 2 years tax returns personally. They want to see a business plan, right? 'Cause
Okay.
you're buying a business now. You're in a big boy league. You just can't go in SBA, like you said, with your hand out. So that business plan need to understand, why do you want to buy this business,
Right.
right? What do you plan on doing with this business? Where you're going to take it, right? What excites you about the market, right? What are some cool things that you plan on doing? So that business plan is very important. And then sometimes they do request what is called a sponsor in some cases. So a sponsor is, if I'm going to buy a storage facility and this storage facility is $3 million and you've never purchased a facility of that magnitude, well, we need someone to come on that has that experience to be a sponsor. Not putting up money, but just saying, hey, I'm going to consult you through this process. And that's why, my mentorship is so powerful, because there's no one that comes from our community that looks like me that's sponsoring for other individuals to get into the self-storage industry. That's
Right.
the gatekeeping, right? So that's what we do for our mentees. When they find these businesses, we sponsor. So we come on and we consult them and say, look, we got the credibility, we have the experience. So those are the things that they're going to look for when it comes to SBA.
We talk business credit. We talk SBA. There's one more in this financing realm that you touched on it earlier, and I wasn't finna let you just skate past it. And you've even heard you talk about it on social as well. You talked about leveraging life insurance as another way for us to finance the purchase of these businesses. Now, what's interesting about that is, I think for a lot of people, especially in our community, life insurance is still a very new topic. There is some taboo around it to where people don't really understand how to leverage it. I think when most people hear life insurance, it's just like, oh, this is just a policy that I have for when I die. My family gets taken care of. You over here talking about, while we're still alive, we can go ahead and leverage this thing to get financing to buy businesses. Could you break down that game for us?
Absolutely. So in our mentorship, it's not just me. We have a full team of instructors, right? And my brother, actually, Mr. Brooklyn Business, he is our financial advisor, right? License and life insurance, different series that he have. But what we utilize, right? We utilize IULs, and we also use whole life policies. Right?
Okay.
So for example, I actually put $100,000 into my whole life policy, right? It's cash value. So $100,000 policy.
Right.
From that $100,000 policy, we now go get a line of credit against it.
Okay.
So we're not utilizing the $100,000. All I'm doing is putting it in there, and now I go to another bank and say, hey, look, I have this money that's in this policy, and you see I'm good for it. And when the day I die, this is going to be able to cash in on it. Can you give me a line of credit against this? So now I'm able to double up my money.
Okay.
So now I turn $100,000 into $200,000, and a line of credit acts as cash. So I can literally write a check to a seller and say, hey, here go $100,000 down, give me this facility, or let's take control of this facility. I can write a check to the title company and say, here go $100,000 directly from my life insurance policy. That's just whole life, right? Then you have your IUL, right? Index Universal Life Insurance Policy, where in that case, you're actually borrowing against it.
Okay.
But can I give you some game?
I'm here.
This is how we make. We say we want to become more effective in less time. That's our entire motto in the Mailbox Spinning Academy. How do we make multiple streams of income off of one move? So we're going to go and get access to capital, which is the 0% interest business credit cards.
Right.
When we go and get the 0% interest business credit cards, we apply for them. They also give us sign-on bonuses, right? Cashback bonuses.
Okay.
For example, American Express, Chase, they give you a $300 sign-on bonus, right, when you get approved with their credit card. We take those sign-on bonuses, and that's how we go and get more LLCs. Now we got a free LLC, right? You go on InkFile Busy now, you can get a free LLC, and you just pay the state fee. Well, we're going to use the sign-on bonuses to pay the state fee, so now it's a free LLC. So I made money by getting that LLC because I got the points on it, right? That's one. The second thing that we're going to do now is go buy a business that's cash flowing. So now I invest to buy that business that's cash flowing. It's going to make me some money another time, right? Then I can leverage that business because I own it to go get capital against it. So I'm going to leverage that to go get a line of credit against my business, go put it in my insurance policy. When I put it in my infinite bank, it's growing compound interest. So now I'm making money a fourth time, compound. But I'm going to borrow against it, and it's still growing as if I never touched it because it's a private agreement with the insurance company. And guess what? I'm going to go buy another business, right? And with the self-storage, this is. I'm going to give y'all this last piece, right?
I'm with you. I'm emotional, but I'm with
When we buy
you.
self-storage, we don't just make money one time. When we rent out our units, it's mandatory for our tenants to get insurance because we don't want to be responsible for a flood or fire. You don't either. Well, we have a partnership with the insurance company where we get paid 50% commission on insurance. So that's another way we're getting paid. Not only we partner with the local moving company, and then we get paid commission on the local moving company every time we refer a tenant that needs moving services. We partner with U-Haul as well. So whenever you need U-Haul services, we now refer them over to the partnership that we have, and we get paid commissions. But if you follow along this journey, I just made money 6, 7, 8 different times off the same journey. But I have to be willing to go through that process, right? You have to be willing to be coached through that process. And that is how we utilize business credit cards mixed with infinite banking and business buying. And this is something new that we're going to get into. You know, we call it our mailbox millionaire banking strategy. It's like something new, complete that we operate, and that's what we on. Yes, sir. Yeah, episode over. Episode over.
Family, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yo, what are we talking about here today, fam? Like, this is some very high level, next level. I'm sweating.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is okay. All right. This is getting very well. I can't even say this is phenomenal. This is and once again, it doesn't matter where you are in your business journey, because at no point in time did you say you need $10 million, you need $1 million to start. It's all strategy and just knowing where to go, what to do, but more importantly, how to do it the correct way. This is good. This is very, very good.
And I just want to set this tone as well, because I know it's a lot of game that I'm giving, and it may sound like, wow, this is new. I definitely going to watch this a few times.
Yeah.
Watch this right now. Go watch it a few times to pick up the game, but just get started, right? You really have to have a strategy. I say, you know, to my community, I say it all the time, we think we have a money problem. We don't, because we show you the strategies to go get the capital. We think we have a strategy problem. We don't. Most of the time, we have a belief problem. We have a confidence problem, right? We are fearful. We don't want to be the first millionaire in our family. We say we do, but we don't want it. Why? Because we don't want the responsibility that everybody gonna call you for the information, for the resources. You scared to be able to have a different life, you know? So I want you to, you know, if you're watching this right now and you're excited about it, this can be you, you know, not just me. I have thousands of students. I have hundreds of testimonials, but you have to overcome that confidence and that belief to know that you can actually do this.
38%. That's the amount of entrepreneurs that are struggling to get their business funded because their personal credit isn't where it needs to be. Now, you can look into alternatives like corporate credit cards and vendor accounts, but the truth is the easiest way to get access to 5 to 6 figures in funding is to have good personal credit. As an entrepreneur, the stress of trying to build a successful business is already enough as is. So why work harder than you need to when you can simplify the funding process by getting your credit restored? My company, Takeoff Financial, has served hundreds of entrepreneurs just like you by helping them avoid the pain of getting denied for business funding by restoring their personal credit, and we want you to be the next one. So click the link above or below this video to secure your free consultation, and let's put you in position to get you funding that your business needs.
Listen, you basically just gave them the strategy to where it's like, whether they want to use credit, whether they want to leverage against a life insurance policy, whether they want to leverage the SBA, there's 1,000,001 ways to skin the cat. You just gave like 999.99 thousand of them. Like, you really breaking this down. So now let's say, right, we broke down credit, we broke down capital. I want to talk a little bit about clientele. We have the financing we need, whether we want to go SBA, life insurance, whatever it may be. How do we even go about finding these businesses that we want to purchase in the first place? Like, what are we doing? What are the resources we can leverage?
Few resources, right? The easiest way to do it is a website called bizbuysell.com. That's the easiest way.
Say that again, but say it slow.
Bizbuysell.com. BIZBUYSELL.
Okay.
That is the #1 business brokerage website out.
Okay.
This is a website where motivated business owners that may own a trucking company, they may own a self-storage business, they may own laundromats, whatever the case may be, they want to sell that business and they don't know how to get it out there. These are the baby boomers. They're not really equipped with technology. So what they do is they get with a business broker, right? The same way you have a real estate agent, you have a business broker. They list it on BizBuySell and say, hey, this owner wants to sell their storage facility. Now you connect with that business broker to negotiate that deal. So you can go on bizbuysell.com. LoopNet is another one that you can go on, or really just drive for dollars. Like, that's the cheapest way.
Explain what that is for those who don't know.
So driving for dollars is if you are on your way to work, you on your way to school, you just got some downtime. You get in the car, just pay attention to what's happening in your area. Look at the local laundromat, look at the storage facility, look at the car wash, and then get there you see the name of it, just jot it down. And when you get home, you could go on Google and Google their business and just see if they got a website. If they don't have a website, that's a sign that may be a motivated seller, right? If you drive by a facility and the grass is so high, that's a mismanaged facility. That's somebody I need to talk to, right?
Right.
You know, go inside that dry cleaning business and just start to have a conversation. You know, go through there. It may be you want to start with businesses that you actually go and you are a customer. Just start there.
Right.
Have the conversation that you never know. One conversation leads to another. Next thing you know, they're willing to sell. So biz by sell, driving for dollars, and you know what we do, which is high level. We have a team of cold callers. So we have a full cold call center. And we call thousands of business owners a day. Just pulling the list, thousands of business owners every single day, calling them with scripts and saying, hey, have you thought about selling? Do you have any motivation to sell? Have that conversation, do follow-ups, and now we get directly to the seller. So that's how we do it.
Let's saying now like we want to, you talked before about the multiple streams, right? Of let's say we wanted to buy the self-storage business. If someone's listening and like, man, I'm gonna just follow the Blueprint Mogul laid out. I'm gonna go buy my own self-storage facility. What is now, once I find that motivated seller who wanted to get that self-storage facility off their hands, what does the marketing process of that business look like? Talk a little bit about that.
Once you buy the facility,
It's mine. I got it. I got to get some people in here for my business. What does that process look like?
Man, I love it. Now we talking.
Now we talking.
Because buying a business is one thing, but now how do you market and how you scale that business that's already going, taking it from 10,000 to 20,000, whatever that number is, right? Number one is looking at, right, do they have any advertising, right? So a lot of businesses, they're not even running Google ads. They're not running Facebook ads. Right. They're not on YouTube putting out information, right? You know, let's look at their website. Do they even have a website, right? So let's put our website out. Just start marketing online and give a presence, right? What we do with our self-storage business, we actually partner with local companies like the Girl Scouts, right? We sponsor different fairs in the community so that people could know, oh, listen, this is Mogul Storage in the area, and now they start to recognize, right? So build awareness in that area. Something simple as having a text list, having a loyalty program. So when you have clients or customers that come to your car wash or your laundromat, why you don't have them sign up for a loyalty program? So every time they get a car wash or clean some laundry, now they get some points, right? And now you could text them different promos. So these are just things that you can start doing to market your business, scale it, get more retention, make more money. One of the things that we do with self-storage right out the gate, right? We are doing surveys. Hey, this was the last owner. What worked? What didn't work? How can we get better? Because we want to service the customers that we already have even better. Why? They're going to go tell more people.
Right.
You know, word of mouth is the best form of marketing. So those are some of the things that I would say. And content online is big.
Sure.
Like content online is big because now you're able to get more investors, people, raise capital. And that's a whole other conversation to be able to take your business to that next level.
What's insane about this conversation is we just gave multi-million-dollar strategies for people that are starting from ground zero, and it's literally this much compared to the game that I know you're giving inside of your community. Like literally this much. I know we have to start to close, but I couldn't let you get out of here without giving you the opportunity to talk a little bit about that. Talk a little bit about that community for individuals that want to stay tapped in and wrapped in with you, what you have going on, and different resources they can start to leverage that you offer to help them along this journey of buying these cash flowing businesses.
Yes, man. So we have the Mogul Elite Club community, the #1 wealth building community on the planet, and the most affordable, bro. Guess how much this community is?
Talk to me.
$1.50 per day.
$1.50 a day.
$1.50 per day.
So we just broke down multi-million-dollar strategies on this absolutely free podcast, and then you have a community that breaks down even more game, and it's only $1. That's like a cup of coffee.
You wake up, you breathe, you spending that type of money, right? So it's $1.50 per day. It's called the Mogul Elite Club community. We have 5 live trainings every single week. So it's not just you join in and there's a bunch of courses. Yes, we have courses that you can go through, over 50 plus hours of content, but we have live classes.
Right.
Every week we'll be teaching you how to underwrite these deals because the math is a big deal, right? So we're showing you how to actually underwrite and know, is this a good deal or not? We're breaking down how to build your credit, how to clean your credit. It's so many strategies. And like I said, I'm going to give, we'll put the link on how we need to do it. Free credit repair, utilizing our software that we'll put out there. But these are the things that we do in our community. It's really a no-brainer, $47 to join in. So yeah, that's what we got going
My
on.
guy, I appreciate you. And also let the people know where they can find you as well on all socials, man.
You can find me on Instagram, Mogul Lifestyle _ You can find me on YouTube, Mogul Elite Club on YouTube, Facebook as well, Mogul Elite Club, TikTok, all platforms, Mogul Lifestyle, Mogul Elite Club, and you can tap in. So also, can I get a text number?
Of course, yeah, for sure.
There we go. So what you want to do is text Marvin. Text Marvin
I
to
love it.
347-429-6496, and you'll be able to join our community, not for $47 a month, which is the actual price. We're going to do it for half off for anybody that texts Marvin. Right, so really, you're gonna be at what, $24 or something like that a month to be able to join our community. Just because my brother was able to put me on this platform and allow me to get this game, and I know you are action taking because you're watching this podcast right now. And he only give out game and only bring on the best of the best. So text Marvin to 347-429-6496. You'll be able to join our community for $24, 50% off, which is what we typically do. So there we go. Let's get it.
My guy, listen, you heard it from the man, the myth, the legend himself. Make sure you text Marvin to that number and get tapped in and wrapped in with the Mogul Elite Club. And if you guys haven't already, what are you doing? Take a second, take a minute, take an hour out of your day right here, right now to go ahead and show this episode some love and tell a friend to come back and watch it again. As always, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Marvin Francois. That's Young Mogul. Y'all have been good. We've been great. This has been amazing. Thank you, and God bless. Peace, family.